Welcome back. Now, the World Economic Forum for Africa will be holding in Abuja from the 7th to the 9th of May. But before that, on the 5th and 6th, Shape Africa will be holding, and it's an initiative by the global shapers community of the World Economic Forum. But don't worry, I have people here who are going to tell us all about that. Joycee, the curator, Abuja Global Shapers Hub. Thanks for being here with us.
Nice to be here.
And Jake Effordo, also a global shaper from Abuja. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so simple. What is Shape Africa?
So Shape Africa is an initiative of the Global Shapers community. It is basically a regional meeting, a regional gathering of all the global shapers across the continent. There are several hubs. There's about 2,700 shapers globally and 300 hubs across the globe. But specifically, this meeting is kind of like a family reunion of the African shapers. Okay. And it's to hold 2 days before the World Economic Forum.
Okay. A question I get a lot, because I'm a global shaper as well. Hello. Just in case you're wondering. But I'm in Lagos, and I get a question a lot, like, what are the global shapers and how do I join? But before we get back to the joining part, what is the global shapers and what is it about, and why do this?
Well, global shapers are people who, like name implies, are shaping the globe, but by starting with their communities. Okay. So the global shapers community involves young people below the age of 30 who are doing extraordinary things in their various communities. Okay. And talking about joining, I think it's a shaper selective process whereby the shapers already existing would induct other people who are shaping their communities. Okay. And there's nothing too special about it. I mean, it involves young leaders. Yeah. No, I mean, people who are between 20 to 30 who are young leaders in entrepreneurship, business, NGO work, servicing the community and all of that.
Yeah, so Shape Africa is holding on the 5th and the 6th. How does this differ from the World Economic Forum itself?
Okay, well, you can think of the Global Shapers as the youngest platform of the World Economic Forum. We are a community of them. Okay. So our agenda is separate in the sense that we're focused on our own community issues. The theme of our actual program is bold solutions. Change the thinking, change the results. We're very focused on proffering solutions to some of Africa's most pressing challenges, focusing on 4 pillars, and that is agriculture, entrepreneurship, education, and technology. So while we are ahead of World Economic Forum, they're separate. We are basically a part of the community, but have a different agenda for the purposes of this event.
Okay, yes. Bold solutions. How are we supposed to tackle this now? It seems a very bold choice.
Yeah. I mean, we discovered that criticism is easy, but it does not create. So as Africans, we know fully well that we have the best potential in the world, but then we don't see this result. So we said, what are those bold solutions that we can bring to the table? It's not necessarily a talk shop, because Shape Africa 2014 is bringing the brightest minds in Africa to sit and discuss how can we create bold solutions that will take Africa where it needs to be. And like she mentioned, in education, entrepreneurship, agriculture, and technology. Yeah.
Let's get down to the meat of our reality as a nation now. And in the last couple of weeks, we've had sort of an IKE initiative on unemployment. I mean, stemming from the immigration service. I'm sure you heard about the exams that held, people died and all of that. Unemployment is a big, big issue on the continent, not even just Nigeria. And, you mentioned agriculture. These are things that, can help sort of drive, employment. Are those sorts of things you're going to be looking at?
Exactly. Ebuka, you hit the nail on the head. Essentially, employability is one of the biggest things that the Abuja Hub focuses on. We have had events on employability and skills workshops, career fairs, CV reviews, dressing to impress. It's very essential that while we have an unemployment issue, are our young people actually employable when the opportunities are present? And that's just one side of the coin. But besides that, we also have, let's take, for example, agriculture. We have agriculture enthusiasts in our hub, people who are actually farmers, people doing great things in the sector, all across the value chain. But do young people really understand how attractive that sector is? Yeah. How can we as African shapers actually push the message out there? It's not unique to Nigeria. It's across the continent. So we hope to, at this 2-day gathering, actually delve into specific issues. How do we push the agenda of agriculture? How do we think of innovative entrepreneurship programs or initiatives to get people to be thinking about creating opportunities for themselves and not just waiting for the government? Yeah. So these are some of the issues that we hope to discuss in detail.
Yeah, I know you do something along the lines of renewable energy.
Yes.
And it's something that a lot of people don't think, can be done on a small scale. Mm-hmm. So tell us a bit about what you do in that space.
Well, yes, I'm an energy sector professional, and my passion is renewables. And I totally believe that it's a way that we can really cause a paradigm shift in Nigeria and in Africa. And a lot of people do think it's too big and it's too expensive and it can't work. But if you look at the potential of powering some of our off-grid communities using renewables, even getting young people into the sector, learning how to put up solar panels, learning how to collect waste and turn it into power. These are initiatives that are small scale but have long-term impact and can also go a long way in powering these communities that do not have access to the grid. Yeah. So as a renewable energy advocate, that's one of the things that I push. And I push the whole topic of solarpreneurs, creating entrepreneurs in the solar industry. And that's just a little term that I came up with to push the agenda.
I know, it just sounded like there's a lot of money in that. So we'll have to talk a lot more after this. But you were in media. I know you had a long-running radio show which was an AIDS initiative, you know, where you try to create awareness and all of that. Yeah. So is that the sort of line that you're interested in, like with your advocacy? Well,
it's also very linked, like Joycee mentioned. If you look at entrepreneurship, agriculture, technology, and education, they're actually quite linked. And from our employability workshop, you notice that from the data, actually, they say 60% of Nigerian graduates are unemployed. That's because Nigerian graduates feel that they need to be employed by someone else and not by themselves. And that links to agriculture. Joycee is also very interested in agriculture, even though she's very into renewable energy. And a couple of shapers as well are also into that aspect. So for me, if you're talking about being on the media, young people need to be healthy. Young people need to, you know, have necessary information at their fingertips for them to be employable and for them to go into agriculture as well. My radio program was not just about HIV and AIDS awareness. It was about sexual reproductive health in a whole. And now my program is called Talk Your Own. It's very much into governance. So if you talk about the issues of, I mean, young Nigerians want to know how come people went to a place to apply for a job and then some died after it. So these are issues that young people need answers to. And that's part of what we need to talk about at Shape Africa.
What do you find is the most relevant sort of issue with young people in Nigeria today on your show?
I think ignorance is very... Yes, it's rife. And it's not the ignorance of not going to school. It's ignorance, it's just basic, simple things. For example, in Nigeria, we have 84 million hectares of arable land. The two major rivers is in our country, yet malnutrition is very rife in this country. So, I mean, it's like a paradox. Yeah. So this information, we need to know how can a young person not necessarily think about working with the immigration service, but basically going back to your village or starting a farm, even if it's fishery, something small, making gari, no matter how little, and how can it help in building not just yourself, your family, but your community at large. Yeah.
When he was talking, he said something initially about, you know, how the Global Shapers work. It's a global initiative, but you have to impact your hub community, your locally. What are some of the things that Abuja Hub, for example, have done?
Okay, so Abuja Hub, as I alluded to earlier, does a lot around employability workshops. We believe that a lot of young people, although out of jobs, they also don't have necessarily the skills to prepare them. So we are very big on CV reviews, preparing them, providing them access to employers, Internship Connect, finding ways to plug them in while they're waiting for jobs. Additionally, we do work around, we've done stuff with the Place of Help, which is essentially a women's center where we were able to give clothing and also prepare the women for work as well. We are focused on things like hospital signage projects, where we're able to, if you go into a hospital in Nigeria right now, a lot of times you don't know where to go when you walk in. And a lot of times people don't have that time. So going in and putting the signs there so people are aware of where to go.
Brilliant.
These are just a few of the many initiatives that we have.
That's very interesting. If I was watching the show now, I'd probably think, oh, World Economic Forum. I mean, before I became a global shaper, I thought it was this thing there, you know, where these men just go and talk shop and drink expensive champagne. Does this cut across class, is what I mean, with global shapers, for example?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't cut across class at all. Anyone can be a shaper as long as you're committed to improving the state of your community. And it could be anything. I joined the Global Shapers because I was giving a TED talk on how we need to involve every community, including like the sex worker population, how we can move their business into like the regular entrepreneurship field. And someone said, oh, I mean, this is what you're doing, so how, you know, send your CV along and all that. We have, like she mentioned, we have farmers, we have bloggers, we have people who are working just regular jobs, we have people who are doing all kinds of things. As long as you're young, you're committed to changing your community and you're doing something about it, then you're a global shaper. Even without the World Economic Forum, you're already a shaper by yourself.
Yeah. You're going to add something?
No, I was going to say exactly. It just gives a platform, but essentially we're just looking for young people who are committed, exceptional in their potential, committed to achieving and committed to impacting Nigeria, taking it home.
Let's go back to Shape Africa now, which holds on the 5th and the 6th in Abuja.
Yes, it does.
And is this going to be a one-off? If it's going to be like just one town hall meeting where people just come out and talk, are there going to be breakout sections? How is this going to work?
Right. So we're not interested in a talk shop.
Okay.
So it's going to be a gathering, but we're going to have breakout sessions to actually delve into the pertinent issues. We're also going to have learning journeys where these shapers can come and see different parts of Abuja and see what's going on, projects and other interesting activities. Besides that, we're also going to end with a call to action. It's not just about this meeting, it's not just about a gathering, but it's about what can we do, what have we learned here that we can take back to all of our individual communities and do something with. It's not just the Abuja Shapers, but Lagos Shapers and Kanu Shapers are also on part of this project. So it's a team Nigeria, and we have shapers from South Africa to Egypt coming. So they're all meant to leave and go back and do something of impact in their communities along those 4 pillars. And we'll be monitoring it and making sure that we continue the dialogue.
Yeah, I was going to say, so